Yo, what is up guys, it's me, TIERLIST Gaming, coming to you with another video. This time we are going to do something different than the Infinite Dreams videos that I have been posting for the past couple of weeks. So in this video I'm gonna be doing a tier list of best PVM classes in the game, mainly based on the team playing aspect. I have planned to do the tier list videos for quite some time, but never really gotten to it. But I think today is the day that I am going to do my first tier list video, and I have definitely planned to do a lot more of these tier list videos. I have seen a lot of other YouTubers do it as well, also in the French community. And I honestly think that after nearly 15 years of playing, that I should do it myself as well, because I got quite some knowledge in the game, and especially in PVM I got a lot of experience, so I know quite a bit of what works and what doesn't. So I have divided this tier list into 5 different categories. So from best, the top one is the best, the bottom one the worst, obviously. So the top one is a must-have in every PVM team, basically, and the second one is decent pick. It works quite well in most of the teams. The middle one is could work if well played. Now, I think some of you might already know what classes are going to be in here. Some classes, they only work if very well played. Like if you play certain classes not so well, they don't work at all in PVM. But if you play them well, they could work. So as for this one, I would not suggest playing these, but if you like them, you should play them. I mean, they probably work in like every content up to 200, but as for the 200 dungeons, I wouldn't really suggest them. But like, if you want to play them, go play them. Now, the bottom one, don't touch, is basically the classes that I really wouldn't suggest in PVM, especially in endgame PVM where everything just gets a lot harder. Now, obviously with everything, if you play a class to the maximum potential and you are really good in PVM, combined with some good teammates, pretty much every class works in PVM. But just most of them work a lot better than the ones that are going to be put in here. Like, I would classify these more of a PvP class than a PVM class. So yeah, let's get started. I actually prepared my results on my phone, so I'm just gonna put them in the right slots and talk a little bit about them. I'm actually gonna straight up start with a Panda. Panda is a must-have in any PVM team. If you are planning a PVM team and you want to start out with a duo, for example, make a Panda first. Panda is just for any content, any dungeon, any quest fight. A Panda is just a must-have. The tanking capabilities that a Panda has, combined with the positioning and the fulning, like the vulnerability spell. Also, Panda can carry allies and throw them around the map. Like, it's just the best PVM class in the entire game. Obviously, if you're going to play solo, Panda wouldn't really work that well. Then again, I might make another tier list in the future as well, based on solo account players, but this is just a team-based tier list. So we're gonna go through the order that I've got down here. Next up is Ekaflip. I'm gonna put Ekaflip in decent pick. Ekaflip is a very good class, has a lot of damage potential and a lot of versatility as well, with healing spells, buffing spells, positioning spells, so it's a really good class. As for damage wise, now obviously every team besides a Panda has to have some damage dealers. Ekaflip is just a very good pick. Now I'm gonna put the Xelor in the don't touch category. I have played Xelor a long time ago. It was right after the the rework with the teleporting stuff and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really that big of a fan of Xelor in PVM. PvP wise, Xelors are quite strong and they require a very high skill gap as far as I know. You really need to know how the positioning works to maximize this damage potential. But as for PVM, like, I wouldn't really suggest them. Like, they could be good damage wise, and like if you play them well they could work, but especially with the new content that is highly based around pandas, you don't need Xelor for positioning. And damage wise there's just a lot of better kill losses in the game that you could choose. As for a better damage class, IOP is always gonna be a decent pick. Now you could potentially put an IOP in must have, but I don't think that would be really fair, because there's like different damage classes that you could pick depending on your playstyle. So I would say IOP a decent pick in a lot of teams. Now I'm gonna go straight to Elio, because Elio combined with IOP is basically like a standard PVM team. I think IOP combined with Elio together they could be in must have if they are on the same team. But I'd say they both a decent pick, depending on what team comp you want to play. Also, obviously, Elio combined with Ekaflip would work very well as well. The reason for that is the Eliotrope's portals just bring a lot more damage to the table. Also, Eliotrope has a lot of positioning capabilities, as well as buffing and healing. So it's just a very nice class in general. Next up I got the Enutrof. I'm gonna put Enutrof in decent pick as well. I would probably play Enutrof combined with a Cra in range composition. But a lot of people play them together with Eliotrope and IOP as well. And they basically put the portals in a way that IOP can hit and then the Enu can pull out and basically put minus 100 MP on everyone to give the IOP a free turn to probably blitz a boss or something. So it's a very good class, can buff as well, can heal quite some, especially after the rework. And as for damage potential, I'd say Eggy Enutrof would be the best, but you could also go with MP reduction Enu, but I feel like MP reduction is not really that necessary anymore in the current meta. Next up is the Sram. I'm gonna put it in this tier, could work if played well. Obviously you could play a Sram pretty much brain dead as a strength build and just spam damage spells. But I feel like Sram has a lot more damage potential when using trap chains. And for that you really need to know how to play a Sram. I have seen high level players use the trap chains to one-shot bosses. I've actually never done it. I've tried it, but it's really hard to pull off, especially if you have to know how enemies move, so they don't like screw up your trap chains. But I feel like if you can play it very well, it could work in a lot of end game content. The Eniripsa is a decent pick. I was debating between a must-have and a decent pick. Now I would last year I would probably put in must-have. The spell that gives your entire team 2 AP, and you have the power spell, 250 power. You can MP buff, you can heal, you can shield, even have some positioning capabilities. But the thing is, especially in new endgame content, I feel like you don't need heals in most of the situations. I just feel like if you have an Enutrof, the Enutrof could heal if needed. And a lot of classes these days have like lifesteal capability, so an Eni is really not that needed anymore, these days at least. Back in the days I'd say Eni would be must have, but now I would say put it in decent pick. Now, you could probably play Panda, Iop, Elio, Eni as a team, but then again, you would lose out on damage and some versatility as well, so Enutrof would probably be a better pick over Eniripsa. Next up, we've got the Huppermage. Huppermage is a great class. I've seen Benjamite make some videos about the Huppermage recently. He leveled 1 and he's really enjoying it. I have yet to play it. I always think it was a nice class to play, but like I did plan to play one, but it was right before Ankama decided to nerf the crit build on Huppermage, so I never really got to play it. I do think if you play it well, it could work, but then again I feel like there's better classes that you could pick. Now, my favorite class in PVM currently, the Feca. Must have. I would probably put it even here together. No, I'm joking. Feca is a must have, especially combined with a Panda. Feca Panda can basically do every dungeon in the game. And that's not even a joke. You can actually, well, maybe not dimensions, but any dungeon that is not a dimension, you can do it with a Feca and a Panda. By just carrying the Feca, and Feca is just gonna hit in close combat and shielding the Panda. Panda will not die because he's basically tanking the entire game. I've had some situations where Panda was eroded to 1 HP, and by shielding, he just couldn't die. I've done quite a lot of duo achievements as well with both of them, and also in a lot of dungeons, shields. Even after the Ataraxia nerf, I just feel like Feca is super good in endgame PVM. The shields help you survive a little bit longer. Also, the chance build with class boots is very strong. You can push enemies away while dealing lots of damage. As for close combat, you can either be strength, agility, even you can be intelligence in a team with heal bow, I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of things that you can do, and Feca is just a must-have in any team, I'd say. Now, the only exception would be if you're playing Enutrof combined with a Iop. Then I would say either pick Enutrof or Eniripsa as a 4th character over a Feca, because you're basically just blitzing everything, then you don't really need the shields of a Feca. But other than that, I'd say Feca as a 2nd pick after the Panda would be the best option. Now, next up, we've got the Ouginak. I will put it here. I wouldn't suggest it, but just play it if you like it. Now, for those of you who follow my Infinite Dreams videos, you know that I'm playing Ouginak in Infinite Dreams. That's literally the only place where I'm gonna be using a Ouginak. I've never ever used a Ouginak for regular PVM, besides the Infinite Dreams. Infinite Dreams, Ouginak is a must-have. Like, it would be over here if it was a Infinite Dreams tier list. Maybe I can do that as well someday. Well, I'll have to see. I got lots of tier list ideas for the future. But as for regular PVM, I would put it here. And why? Like, it could work. Like, could even be here. But the thing is, Ouginak is a close combat class, and in early game, you could probably get away with it. But in later levels, the newest dungeons, they just get a lot harder. And a lot of these mobs, they hit quite hard in close combat. That's why it works in Dreams, because you're basically blitzing every mob together with Feca and Mask, for example, or maybe even double Ouginak. But in regular PVM, you're not really doing that. Especially if you're going for certain achievements, Ouginak is just not really that useful. It has some good damage, but that's about it. Also, it's pretty much a very boring class in my opinion. Next up, Masquerader. I would put it in the same category as the Ouginak. I wouldn't suggest, but if you want to play it, like if you like it, just play it. I do, however, advise everyone who is new to the game to at least once play Masquerader, because it's a very fun class to play. And I really like playing it in Infinite Dreams. But then again, I play it in Infinite Dreams because I need the shields over there. I was debating whether it could be a little bit higher. I mean, I wouldn't put it in decent pick because there's just a lot better classes that you could pick. It would either be here or here. But then again, I feel like it would be beneath the Sram and Huppermage. And I'm gonna add one more class over here soon, and I will still think that Masquerader would be below that class. It has some good shielding capabilities. If you've built it well, it could deal lots of damage. But then again, the same reason with Ouginak, Masquerader is a CC character, and I feel like in endgame content, the CC builds just don't really work. The only reason why IOP would work is because of Wrath, and especially because IOP is a lot of times combined with Enutrof, so you're gonna be playing on range. If you're combining a mask with an Enutrof, for example, I feel like you are lacking a lot of damage combined if you compare it with IOP or Ekaflip. Next up, we've got the Osamodas. It would be in the same category as the Mask and the Uji. I feel like Osamodas would be better as a PvP class, especially because summons are not really that useful in PVM. I think there's only one Osamodas on the Echo server. His name is Sergio. He has 20,000 achievement points. Don't ask me how he did it. But I feel like as an Osa, you would have to have the best gear in the game, basically, to outdamage some of these characters. It's just not really like. Then again, that comes from someone who never in 15 years played an Osa past level 100. That is also because Osa literally got changed every single fucking year. So yeah, I'm really just not a big fan, especially because the class gets changed probably every year, and like every time you get the hang of it, it's gonna get changed. So I think like if you like playing a summoning class, then go ahead. But endgame content, I think you wouldn't really get that far. Early game then, however, it would work. Like every class would work early game pretty much, besides the class that I'm gonna put here. Sacrier. Same reason. I wouldn't suggest it, but play if you like it. Like early game probably works, late game probably not. Same reason as the Ouginak. It's a close combat class. The only way where Sacrier works in endgame is combined with a panda. People use the panda Sacrier to leech XLI or Nidus or probably any content where mobs don't push and pull. I think I did Elio duo with Sacrier, I'm not sure. But assuming you're not gonna be carrying a class all the time, besides Feca, I will put the Sacrier down here. Sacrier gets stronger when it's lower HP, and when you're low HP, you are gonna get one shot by a lot of monsters. So yeah, it's not really that useful. Sadie, however, I will put together with Sram and Huppermage. A Sadie is a really versatile class. It has a lot of damage potential, especially with the infected state. Can also go with a MP reduction build if you want, or a hybrid build. I'd say if you play it well, it could work. I wouldn't say it's the best pick, that's why it's gonna be down here. But it's gonna be on the same level as Huppermage and Sram. Like it's a good class if you play it well. Like if you don't play it well, I would probably put him over here. But if you play it well, it would work. The reason why Sadie is better than these classes, in my opinion, is because Sadie can play on range. And 90% of the PVM high level content is based on playing on range. So that's why I would put a Sadie over these. Next up, we got Defy. I'm gonna put Defy here. I wouldn't touch him. No, I'm just kidding. Rogues are really not that useful PVM wise. It's a great class for PvP if you can play it very well. Like, Defy has showed multiple times that he can outsmart people with his rogue plays, even after the nerf in his recent videos. He still managed to do it. But PVM wise, I say big no-no. I've said for other classes that early game they could work. I would not do that for a rogue. Rogue requires a lot of positioning, and you would need a lot of AP for that. And I don't think early game you would be able to do that. Then again, if you can afford multiple classes, having a rogue could be nice as a side character for leeching purposes. I have done Nidus leeches quite a lot in the past, and that's basically the only place where I'm using a rogue. I have not used a rogue anywhere besides Nidus. So yeah, I don't think, like, setting up your bombs, especially after the recent nerfs, setting up the bombs is just such a big pain. If you're playing Elio, you could probably already be done with the fight before Rogue has the bombs big enough to do any damage. So no, I think it's a great PvP class, but as for PVM, I would never touch it. Next up, we've got the Foggernaut. I would put it in decent pick. I think I have a Foggernaut level 200, but I don't think I have ever played it like actively. I know crit build is very popular on that, and they are quite strong. If I would play a Foggernaut, I might play intelligence build for healing purposes, but like I said before with the Eniripsa, healing isn't really like that useful in my opinion anymore in the current meta. Like, everything revolves around high damage. Like, classes that do high damage are in the current meta a lot better. So I'd say crit build on Foggernaut would be better. Like, probably around like the same build as Cra currently. Just go full crit with the turrets and ambush and do great amounts of damage. You can combine it with Elio if you're like high IQ player. I would say Foggernaut would be probably equal to Ekflip. I would say that. I think if I had to put these in an order, I'd probably put them like this. Now we got one class left, and that's gonna be Cra. Like I said before, the current PVM meta is based a lot around playing on range. Therefore, I'd say Cra is a must-have. My standard PVM team would be Panda, Feca, Cra, Enutrof. Used to be Eniripsa, but like I said, healing is not really that important, so I think Enutrof would be better pick than Eniripsa. That is my go-to range composition for PVM. As for a standard PVM team that a lot of people use would be Elio Enu or Elio anything like that. You could use Ekflip or Foggernaut instead of a damage character. I'd say you could probably even use a Foggernaut together with Feca and Cra as well. But this is basically my opinion about how useful classes would be in the current PVM meta. The reason why I would pick a Cra over all of these is because of the recent buffs that Cra got. Arrow of Judgment, the strength spell that basically does more damage if you don't use your MP. It can now be used in close combat, which is, now I wouldn't say broken, but I'd say it's a lot stronger. You can use it while being carried by Panda. As for solo quest fights, you can use it in a close combat fight as well. As for the Aggie builds, you can now use Slaughtering Arrow diagonally, which is pretty strong. And I think there's another agility spell that does more damage if you switch targets. You can now use it twice on a target and then use it another time on another target, which you couldn't before. So that's a lot stronger as well. Overall, I think Cra is just a go-to class if you want big damage on high range. Like, you can clear a lot of mobs and fights pretty quickly with Cra. So I'd say it's must have. So that's basically it for my tier list video of the best PVM classes that would work in a team. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this tier list. If you would have done anything different, let me know in the comments below. Obviously, this is just my opinion, and somebody else maybe thinks that that a rogue should be over here. Maybe Defy thinks that, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, this is just my my tier list. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in a solo PVM tier list. I could do that as well. I don't know if it's probably would be similar to this one. Maybe a little bit, like some classes would probably go up a little bit. I'm also thinking of doing something gear related. What would be the best gear for a class? I think that's something for the future as well. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are aiming to get 1000 subscribers before the end of this year. That would really be nice if that would be possible. So leave a like and subscribe, and then I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and bye.